Good morning. Congratulate yourselves, would you please? You made it through the whole month. We talked about the F word all month long, haven't we? We talked about forgiveness, and we made it through. So that's a tough one for a lot of people. It's a tough thing to tackle, forgiveness, because we all get hurt, right? Through the thoughtlessness of other people. We all get hurt. We all get wounded. We all imagine getting back, don't we? Come on, you do. Righting the ship, somehow restoring justice, perhaps seeking revenge. We want to be right. We are right. We're the wounded party, for goodness sakes, right? We're the injured party, so we want restitution. We want to be restored. And then we come to a teaching like this. We come to a practice of forgiveness, and then we recoil in horror, right? What do you mean, forgive? No! How am I supposed to let them off the hook after what they did to me? Right? We come to a teaching like this, and we discover that the practice of forgiveness has nothing to do with letting anyone off the hook. It has nothing to do with condoning anything anybody ever did, and it has nothing to do with letting anybody think that it was okay, what they did. People can do very loveless things to each other. And that's not what the practice of forgiveness is about. Treating anyone like anything less than the divine nature that they are is not okay. And that includes yourself. Treating yourself any less than the divine being you are, that's not okay either. So the practice of forgiveness, it's our practice. It's for us. It's not for anybody else. It is our path to freedom. It is our path to freedom. It allows us to stand in our authentic power, and recreate the kingdom of heaven on earth in our little corner of the world, right? It frees us to live totally out loud, totally authentic, without anything holding us back, without any regret or without any negativity. Ernest Holmes said this. He said, "Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors, and that we may know there is no thing in the law of life operating against us. We lose every sense of bitterness, resentment, hatred, unbelief, because we know the divine givingness becomes the divine forgivingness only in such measure to which each individual, as he first forgives, as he empties himself of that which denies the good he seeks." That's powerful stuff. We cannot demonstrate the good we desire while holding on to anger or resentment or hostility or unforgiveness to anyone else. We cannot demonstrate the good we desire by mentally withholding it from someone else in our mind. Does that make sense? Good for me, but no good for you over there because you got me mad. It doesn't work that way. It'll never work that way. There's one life, right? That's core concept one. There's one life. There's one energy. There's one mind. So if we are denying good to someone out there, we're denying good to ourselves because there's only one. It's only one energy. So if we're withholding our good, if we're withholding our love, if we're withholding our joy to someone else, we're withholding it to ourselves. We're denying the same thing in our own experience. We cannot want for someone what we would not want for the world. We have to heal ourselves of the us and them mentality. For once and for all, we have to heal ourselves of the us and them mentality. There is no us and them. There is one life. It's God's life. It's individualizing itself. It is incarnating itself as all life everywhere. But there is only one. And so when we forgive, when we release our mind from the past, we're standing in the power and the presence of now. And that's the only place our power is. We stand in our power, not the power of the ego, right? Not our little self, the ego. You know what they said that stands for edging God out. Edging God out. We're not standing in the power of our own personal ego, But we're standing in our authentic spiritual power, the power of spirit flowing through us. And in the truth of that power, we see all life as the life of God. We hold nothing against anyone because we see all life. We see the divine interconnectedness. We see that all life is the life of God. Because we are standing in God's power and we're allowing it to flow through us, as us, into the world. Ernest Holmes said this. He said, it is all nonsense to say God is love unless our arms are around all people. It is all nonsense to say God is peace unless there is a peace in our own consciousness that brings a calm to everything. It is nonsense to say God is giving unless our hands are open that we may scatter on the four winds the last atom of good we have ever received. It is nonsense to say the universe holds me in its loving embrace while we dislike one single soul. We must love unconditionally. That's what it's saying. We just must love unconditionally when it's easy to do and when it seems impossible to do. That's why we're here, to know each and everything as the life of God, to know each and every person as the life of God. Not only when people adore us, but when people revile us. We have to love unconditionally. You know, we are New Thought. That's what we're called, right? We say it every week in and week out. We are New Thought. We are New Thought. We honor all paths to God. You've heard the words of Ernest Holmes that I just said. We have to hold ourselves to that high standard. We can't curse anyone. We can't belittle anyone. We can't deny anyone the truth that we know for ourselves. And you know, that makes us a little bit different than some of the other traditional religions, doesn't it? Some of the traditional religions are kind of an us and them dynamic. There's a little bit of duality in other faith traditions that we don't hold here, because we do honor all paths to God. Now, I don't, you know, there are, look, the Bible was used to justify slavery, wasn't it? Would it surprise you to know that the KKK is a 501c3 nonprofit Christian organization? It is, okay? The Bible was used to subjugate women. The Bible was used to justify beating children. There are religions around the world that use their scriptures to justify killing homosexuals. We have to get past this us and them mentality. We in New Thought are doing that. That is what our faith tradition is doing. And you know what we need to do? We need to take back God from those religions. We need to take back our God, right? You know, we are here to free God, to rescue God from the us and them system. When we live the teachings of universal love, when we live the teachings of the core concept one, God is all there is. There is no us and them. There's no them. There's no them. New Thought teachings are about a universal life, a universal presence, and a universal love. The self-givingness of God to and through its creations, that the divine embraces all life. Last week was the AGNT Symposium, right? The Association of Global New Thought. I attended with several practitioners here. And the AGNT is open to all New Thought, and it's wonderful. And there was unity there, and divine science, and religious science, and there was just a whole group of us. And the topic was going to the next level. How do we go to the next level? We called ourselves the conscious majority, so how do we do that? And we came up with some resolutions. We want to engage all religions everywhere in this New Thought. And what we said was New Thought, engaged spirituality, stands for something. What does it stand for? It stands for connectedness. We seek to expand the definition of New Thought to include new thinkers in all faiths, in all religious traditions, in all orientations, at the local, the national, and global level. New Thought, engaged spirituality stands for the change we wish to see in the world. that we empower ourselves to activate our vision and model wholeness. New Thought Engaged Spirituality stands for creating a brand of New Thought that calls violence by its name in every situation and stands for nonviolence in every context. We demonstrate the positive and the good in face of negative. New Thought stands for staying focused on what we are for, regardless of the cost, and moving forward, regardless of the past. New Thought stands for building a conscious majority with clear positions on social justice to inform the national and international discourse. New Thought Spirituality stands for knowing we are expressions of the living God that operates through every part at every level of the universe in divine order. That we are living our convictions 24/7 and no longer staying silent in the face of injustice. Yeah, New Thought's coming out of the closet. Don't you love it? Engaging the youth and the young people and the millennials in a worldwide view of stewardship of the earth, authentic inclusiveness, truth-telling with loving kindness, trustworthiness, a passion for human rights that places moral law above social negative patterns. Developing a curricula to support implementation of New Thought in education. New Thought Spirituality stands for becoming local, national, and international beloved community. A beloved community that embodies love, that stands up and speaks out, and puts our feet on the street. You ready to declare that you are New Thought? Putting the issue of race on the front burner, convening meaningful conversations on social equality. Someone came up with this. The New Thought Spirituality stands for quintessence. I love this, and it was an acronym. Quest to unify a New Thought engaged spirituality, stewarding the evolution of a nonviolent, caring earth. Don't you love that? And this from Clyde Terry. He was a retired policeman up in LA. He said this. He said, there should not be crime within a mile of any of our churches. There should be a place for victims of domestic violence. He said, I'm not waiting for the leadership to show up anymore, but I will become the body of New Thought. When I hear myself complaining, let me stop and go out and find the resources to solve the problem myself. I will be the direction. I will be the toolbox. I will be the solution. I will be the energy on all days, not just Sundays. That's what New Thought is. It is that practical spirituality. It is that spirituality that holds that we interpret that divinity within us and we live from that authenticity. That is standing in our spiritual power. Ernest Holmes said this. He said, could we ask for more, or could we in justice expect it to be otherwise? Giving and receiving, loving and being loved, helping and being helped, living and let live. Is not this the kingdom of God? Let's see if we cannot bring this kingdom to earth in our own experience. Let's see if we cannot so live, so love, and so give that our littleness is lost in something bigger, finer, broader, and deeper. Isn't that what we've come together in New Thought to do? To live the authentic life of God out in the world, outside of these four walls. It's wonderful that we come together every Sunday morning and we talk about this stuff. And then for the other days of the week, it's wonderful that we go out in the world and we live from this authentic self, from this spiritual truth. We are New Thought. I am religious science. You are religious science. I am a center for spiritual living. I just don't attend a center for spiritual living. I am a center for spiritual living. My body is a center for spiritual living. You and you and you and all of us, we are a center for spiritual living. And we speak our word and we move mountains with the power of that word, do we not? Look at where we are. Look around this room. Look around this building. Where were we last year at this time? You don't think we move mountains? Look at this place. We spoke our word. We manifested this. This was the consciousness of the group. We are powerful beyond measure. We believe the invisible. We rely on the ineffable, and we demonstrate the impossible. That is what we do in New Thought. Say it with me. We believe in the invisible. We rely on the ineffable. We demonstrate the impossible. You bet. You bet. Ernest Holmes said this. He said, "For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever." This kingdom, this power, this glory never change. The truth is forever established, eternal in its infancy, eternal in its maturity. It knows no decay. We must believe the gift of life is already an accomplished fact. We must have faith in God that it will meet all of our needs right here, right where we are. And this is where we proceed. We go out in the world and we stand in this truth. We stand in the truth of God. This is not our personal ego. This is the power of Spirit flowing through us into the world. And we speak out and we live our life and we live our truth. And we know that life is all life of God. We know that. There were stories, I can't even begin to tell you. There were stories up at the symposium this past week where David Alexander has a church up in Oswego, Oregon, and he said he had members come and resign their membership because he has a Black Lives Matter sign out in front yard of his church. Black Lives Matter. And he had people resign their membership there. This is separation. There's no place for that in New Thought. Michael Bernard Beckwith spoke about back in the 80s, back in 88, when he did the first same-sex marriage in Agape, and he had people get upset with him, and there was pushback, and he said, so what? And he did it anyway. And then when he started his prison ministry, he had people at Agape come to him and said, oh no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Why? Why? Because they were frightened. They were scared. Because what happens when they get out of jail? They're going to come here. They're going to come. Well, of course they are. Of course they are. And he did it anyway. And he started his prison ministry anyway. Yeah, I mean, some of them did come. You know what he said? He said mediocrity will always push back against excellence. Do it anyway. We have to get past the us and them mentality. Ernest Holmes said this. He said, you are the light. You are the love. You are the Redeemer. And you are the Messiah. And you are the only Savior you will ever discover in all of your travels. This is the secret Socrates and Emerson and Plato and Jesus and Whitman wrested from the universe. This is the secret of the ages. The lost word, the key to the realization of the kingdom of heaven. We are the answer we have been looking for. That inner spirit, that outer God and that innermost God are the same God. That is the God we've been praying for. We've been praying for the strength to just allow it to come out. We have to take New Thought out into the world. We have to live this. We have to declare who we are to our friends and our family. Because you know why? Because they're all home this morning. You know what they're doing? They're watching Super Soul Sunday, baby. That's who we are. We are that. And we need to tell people that's who we are. We believe that. We believe there is one universal life. It is the life of God. It is expressed fully and completely in each and every human. You exist that this power might have a unique outlet. This is Ernest Holmes. You exist that this power may have a unique outlet. The more life you express, the more it flows through you. Therefore, every legitimate desire you have is pushing this power through you into its own self-expression. You are in partner with the infinite. This is who we are. This is the truth of us. We have to lay down the grudges and the resentments. We have to do away with the duality. We have to stand in the truth of who we are. We are New Thought. And there is New Thought in every religion in the world, let me tell you. It's not only religious science, it's not only unity, it's not only divine science. We have the speakers of truth. We have New Thought bishops, Yvette Flunder up there in San Francisco. You know, we have New Thought speakers who speak to the truth of our oneness in all religions. These are the people that will stand with us and stand with the truth of our oneness, our wholeness, our perfection, and transform the world. When we lay down the resentment, when we forgive, when we do our forgiveness work, when we put aside the duality, and we stand together as one. There is one life, core concept one. There is one life. It is God's life. It is perfect. It is my life now. It is the life of each and every one of us. And we have to stand it. We have to declare it. We have to live from it. Thank you so much.